So I wanted to build something on Walrus again because I think it's a real cool tech. It's a decentralized storage protocol, so basically like Amazon S3 but without the Amazon. You can store any files, you can store any videos, or basically, yeah, you can store anything on it, and you don't need to sign up for an account. You just need your wallet and some Walrus tokens. But right now it's in testnet, so it's all free, and I figured it'd be a good time to try it out, or at least integrate it because I built some Walrus sites before, but I've never actually used the most basic functionality, which is just to integrate a feature that allows you to upload a file and then read that file. So I thought of just something, a nice simple proof of concept, something like product hunt, but on chain. So no databases, no servers, all the data objects are stored on chain and all the assets are stored on Walrus. So this is how it looks like. You can connect your wallet right here because it's on testnet right now. We go on testnet, connect to your wallet, and then now you can create a listing. So like all these listings, all these assets are stored on chain. If you look at the stuff, it's stored on you can fetch it from a public aggregator. So yeah, that's I guess that's more details than needed, but yeah, let me just show you how that thing works right now. So we create a listing, we can enter any title, let's say just enter a bunch of text, and then for the upload the file, we can drag our cat image right here. Let's say cat product. It's been uploaded, and if we check the console, this is the response. So I've already uploaded it first. The first time you upload it, you get a newly created object, and you get the blob object, which is the file, and the blob ID is the important part, because that's using the blob ID, you can actually fetch it from from Walrus. But I've already uploaded before, and since I just uploaded again, you get already certified, and same thing, you get the blob ID, and then yeah, so it's stored in Walrus right now, and now I'm just going to create the object. So this stores the object on Sui with the reference to the blob ID. So I'll get into that a bit later too, but yeah, so we just create a listing and it's stored there. You got this nice cat image and you got the fields, and you can upvote it too, and that's on chain, and you can delete it too if the product uploaded is tied to your account. So that is the product in a nutshell. And for the details, I guess, so the UI, it's built with Svelte 5 and Svelte Kit, so there's a couple things I really like about that, especially with the new runes and stuff, and how you can use that to store state. The Sui objects, instead of storing it in a database, you just store it on Sui, and then for the assets, like I said, it's on Walrus too. So for the smart contracts on Sui, it's just this is the thing right here. We have a listings registry, and we have that as a shared object, and then within the listings registry, we have a bunch of listings, which is stored as a VecMap. So that's like I guess the equivalent, how I like to think about it, is just like an object in JavaScript. Yeah, so I'm still learning Sui, and this is one of the hard parts that I'm just having a trouble grasping right now, because it's with normal like Web 2 databases like Postgres, you just take a database, you take a table, and you can store everything in it, and you can retrieve everything from it, like select star from table listings. But with at least with Sui, the concept of this global storage is not as straightforward, because you can store it. There are limits to how much you can store within data structure. So you can get around this with different data structures like dynamic fields and stuff, but then it makes it hard to fetch those structures, because then I'm still playing around with it. I think their GraphQL API solves a lot of these problems, but for this one, I just use a VecMap, which is limited in the every object stored on Sui has a size limit, so this does fit into the size limit too, so it's limited in that sense. But when you fetch the object, you get all the contents. It's hard I guess it's hard without showing it, but I guess I'll show that another time. But yeah, so we got a listings registry, and then we got a listing. Every listing has its own ID, so it's its own ID, and then has reference to the blob ID, which is the blob ID stored in Walrus. And then we had some comments, and yeah, I was supposed to implement some comments so then everybody can vote on, just comment on change, but I didn't get to that part. So yeah, the objects are right there, and then the init function, when you deploy the contract, this runs once and only once, and basically we just create the registry, and then we share the object so that everybody has access to it. And for create listing, these are it's kind of like in the traditional model with the client server, and you have your server and you have your little endpoints. I kind of like to think of it like that too, because you have your own endpoint where you can create a listing, and it literally just creates a listing. It's just really simple. It's just really intuitive because it's all object based. And then I emit an event for listing created, and yeah, so There's create listing, there's upvote listing, and destroy listings, just some basic like CRUD application, CRUD features. Yeah, so that's the smart contract part. And then for the Walrus part, I think, yeah, I went over showing that how that works. But to integrate it into your app, like your UI, so this is the main page of the thing. It's just one, I just try to make it as simple as possible, just one page. And yeah, so Svelte, you got the bunch of the UI right here. It's basically HTML, but with a bit of syntax. And then for the script, it's actually just from here to here. So we got a bunch of temporary variables, state runes, and then for creating the listing, all right, this is it, the handle file upload. So we bind it to an input, and then on change we bind it to this handler, and this handler, it's like regular web stuff. You just take the event and target, and you get the file, and then to upload it to Walrus, you literally it's just this right here. You just hit the URL and then attach the file, like put the file in the body, and then you get that, which is the data response that we saw earlier. So this is what it looks like, the blob ID. And yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. It's like just another endpoint that you push that's available to everybody publicly, and then anybody can store their files online without creating an account with Amazon or something like that. So that's to store it, but to read it, let me try to figure out how that happened. We need the listing here. So if we go to, there should be a page here. Oh no, I put everything in a modal, so that's just, I don't want to go to extra pages, so I just put everything in dialog. Everything is using ShadCN Svelte components, so it's actually really easy. Like even now, it works really well with Claude and LLMs because I don't know. Apparently, they have like enough context and they're smart enough to just spit out Svelte 5 code with all the ShadCN components already filled in. So I guess I should have commented these so I know what's going on. Okay, this is the form right here. So you can see subtitles, description. No, that's not what we want. We want the listing detail. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so app state. I think that's something really cool there too. Just a little Svelte 5 pattern, but for the actual image, there we go. Yeah, so this is showing it right here. So we get the aggregator URL, which is another public URL right here. And from there, we can just literally pull in the image using the blob ID. And so if we inspect that, that's what it shows right here. The source is just the image stored on Walrus. And if we click it, and then it can download the thing. Right now, it's not like a really polished thing, so we got to attach the PNG because it doesn't know it's a PNG file right now. And there we go. There's our cat image, our cat product image that we stored on Walrus. Yeah, so that is the UI and that is the smart contract. And just one more thing I wanted to show you was with Svelte, I like how it manages, how like a new pattern that you can use to store state and it just handles state. I think it just makes everything a lot more cleaner, a lot more neater, is to be able to use it with classes. Yeah, so this right here, just usually like, I guess classes aren't that popular, but with Svelte 5, like with these runes, you can actually just have public fields that are like normal variables, but with the state rune attached to it. So then it's a reactive class. It's basically, yeah, it basically becomes reactive such that whenever you change it, it just automatically updates, and it doesn't update the whole page. It only updates the parts that are attached to this specific variable. And I find that just, it's so simple and it just makes sense, and it just I just really like the pattern. So you just have a bunch of variables, and then even if you have like a derived variables, like so I have listings right here, and I have has listings, which is just a derived state based on if listings has length. And then to actually get these to populate these variables, I have these methods on the class too, and then you literally just call them, and then everything is just on the state. So like if I want to get the listing, I just I fetch the listings from the blockchain, from Sui, using this handler right here, and this is the contract. I like to have all my contract specific logic in its own file, so contract.tools, and using PTBs or programmable transaction blocks available Sui, you can just create a transaction and then make a move call and directly call the listing on the contract. So this create listing, and we saw earlier that corresponds to this run right here in the on the smart contract. So smart contract create listing takes in a few arguments, and then it creates the stuff on chain. And then on the front end, on the client, you just you just call it with the SDK. You just target the package ID and the function, and then you put in the arguments, and then sign the transaction, execute the transaction block, and you will get the executed transaction. I think we have it's right here actually. So this is the response coming from the transaction when you execute a transaction from the front end. This is what you get. You get the effects of the transaction along with the events, if there are any events, object changes. So just a bunch of good data to pull from. And I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about. It was really fun building on Sui and Walrus. And I think next, one of the things I wanted to explore was the GraphQL stuff. So instead of storing it all in VecMap, which is kind of limited in space, I was thinking, just storing it all in a dynamic field or something. But the problem I had with that was with the fetching. So I think the GraphQL solves that. And I guess I'll see how it goes. And so that's thanks for watching, and till next time.